I'm Howie Scarborough. I'm the CEO of Fall Protection Distributors, and we've recently written a blog about BRS Roofing Supply standing seam panels that they produce. And what we're focused on is what compatible fall protection equipment can be used on their standing seam panels. So if you jump into this blog on our website, we go in depth into the different panels that they produce, and then we talk about the different products that are available. So you want to have a non-penetrating systems for standing seam that protect both the roof panel system and the worker. So anywhere in this blog, there's these links throughout that say roof anchor compatibility chart. If you'll just click that, there's a quick reference chart here. And this shows the different products that we use on these roofs. And then across the top, this shows the different panels that are available. So anytime we're talking about this equipment, this is for steel panels. If you've got zinc or aluminum, copper panels on what you're working on, we have some other solutions for that. But in this case, we're talking about 22 and 24 gauge steel panels. That's what these product recommendations are going to be focused on. So starting with the SSRA1, these top two products here, this comes with two different types of set screws. The top one here is what we consider the standard SSRA1. This is an all stainless steel cup tip set screw. This is intended for 22 gauge steel panels. And then you can also swap those screws out for a nylon tip version. And the nylon is intended for 24 gauge steel panels. Same anchor, just different set screws. So this is a non-penetrating seam-mounted anchor. It uses 6 pairs of opposing set screws. It locks onto the seam. It's incredibly strong, incredibly universal fit. But these anchors are going to fit about 95% of today's standing seam panels across the board. Okay, so the SSRA1 is compatible with all of their standing seam panels as long as it's 22 and 24 gauge steel. Now, if you're on a roof system and you need to put walkboards on for your crew, you need to use 10-foot walkboards. You can take the SSRA2 roof jack adapter, and these mount on top of the SSRA1 seam anchors once you remove the D-ring off the top of the seam anchor. And you're going to mount these about 8 feet apart on the roof, and that'll allow you to put a 10-foot walkboard on. If you need to use temporary horizontal lifelines on a standing seam roof, same thing. We have an adapter plate for that. It's called the SSRA3 Anchor Plate. And this is a heavy aluminum span plate that's going to go across 2 SSRA1 anchors with the D-rings removed off the anchors. And the grooves in the plate allow this one plate to be used on standing seams from 12 to 24 inches wide, which is about 95% of all the standing seam panels out there within that width range of seam spacing. So there's your 100-foot horizontal lifeline. Now, there are some jobs that it might make sense to put a permanent lifeline on. So we do also offer a Super Anchor 120-foot permanent steel cable lifeline kit with risers. That's available on the website. So it's 120 feet of cable, plus your posts, plus your mounts. It is designed for standing seam roofs. Something to check out as well. Now, if you're working on a roof that's 612 to 1212, an alternative product would be the Ridge Pro Steep Assist. So the Ridge Pro is a very simple product. It mounts on the end of a 16-foot pole. This is what we consider a first man up type anchor. So it doesn't attach to the seam, so the gauge of the steel is not important. Even the substrate, aluminum, zinc, softer substrate panels can be used. Shingle roofs, it's very versatile. So a worker would climb a ladder. They'd have the Ridge Pro attached to the end of a 16-foot pole. They'd use that pole to run that Ridge Pro up the roof, flip it over. It locks over the peak. And as it does that, it also brings a vertical lifeline up with it. So as soon as that worker steps off the ladder, they are 100% tied off to do the task or the inspection they need to do. And they're tied off until they get safely back to the ladder, and they can release that Ridge Pro and bring it back down to the ground without having to step on the roof unprotected. So the Ridge Pro is a very versatile product, fits most roof types, but it is intended for 612 to 1212 roofs. But something to read up on and check that out. So if you have any questions about any of these products or any of these roof panels, our phone number is up here at the top. Our email is support@fallpd.com, and this little blue circle in the bottom right corner of our website, that's our live chat. Let us know how we can help you.